Bro, did Kaido just get used as a f***ing jump rope? Okay? Okay! Like, Kaido's done. Like, I'm gonna say it right now. Kaido is done. Like, there is just no way, like, he is being able to beat Luffy whatsoever if literally Luffy turns this giant dragon into a literal jump rope. Like, what? Like, yo, that just happened. Okay, that's nuts to me. That is absolutely wild. But before I get into the hype and quality that was One Piece chapter 1045, there's a few things that need to be talked about, which is probably why you clicked on the video, because of the title. There is apparently a lot of anger or hatred towards this chapter of One Piece, and you're probably wondering, wait, why? Because, honestly, when you really take a hard look at chapter 1045, it's a good chapter. Like, it's 100% a really good chapter, and it fits the very mold and what One Piece actually is. I mean, legitimately, this is a very One Piece chapter. If you literally look back at just Luffy's antics and some of the fights he's had throughout the series, this is a very One Piece chapter. So, why is there a lot of people on social media apparently hating on this chapter? Well, apparently, people think that all tension of this fight is effectively gone. People feel like, really, it's just a joke now, it's a gag manga, that this is not serious anymore. That's what people are saying on social media. You can find it if you look at it. It's crazy. A lot of people are talking about it. It's a little bit like, wait, really? Like, people are really saying there's no tension? People are really saying, like, it's just a gag manga now, or this doesn't fit? I'm just thinking to myself, like, it fits with everything that's been set up with chapter 1044, but also just the very theme of One Piece in general. It's about smiling, adventures, laughing. Yes, there's some serious moments, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we gotta also look at what, Luffy's Devil Fruit is now. I mean, he literally is supposed to bring smiles and laughs to people, so he is technically acting funny and wacky, and that's what Oda's trying to convey to the readers. I personally see nothing wrong with chapter 1045, and like I said, this is a very One Piece type chapter, so I don't really understand why people are actually upset. Like, seriously, like, no tension? I actually believe there is a lot of tension, because we get a glimpse that Luffy's very body isn't looking too hot. Like, seriously, he ages, like, really rapidly in the middle of the chapter, and I know many might kind of throw that aside as, like, a gag, or it's hilarious, and it is funny looking, but it does hint at the fact that Luffy is incredibly damaged, and that Luffy is probably going to have some very negative repercussions with his Devil Fruit. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. So, I don't know. I don't know why I'm seeing complaints about it, but it's a hell of a good chapter. So, let's just dive into it. So, one of the things I think we can all get from this chapter, by the way, is that Luffy is pretty much turned into a cartoon. Like, straight up a cartoon. Like, his very expressions, his movements, the sound effects that you see that Oda kind of threw in behind the panels, everything about it, it really has turned Luffy into a cartoon character. Like, when you see him, like, running in the middle of this, the air and all that, and you just see, like, a wheel type movement, I can hear the sound effects in my head of, like, a car wheel as he's trying to run and all that towards Kaido, or also while he's bouncing around, or when he gets, like, slapped by Kaido's club and you see his face just, like, stretch out and all that. It literally, I can hear the sound effects in my head from, like, a Tom and Jerry cartoon, which is pretty freaking hilarious, because One Piece has had fights like this, and let's point out these fights. We've had some really wacky and messed up looking fights, like through Crocodile versus Luffy. I mean, where Luffy walks in, he literally is bloated like a balloon full of water, and he's just spitting water at Crocodile. Or you have Buggy versus Luffy, which is very hilarious. There's a lot of funniness about that fight. One Piece has had messed up and weird fights. That's just how it is. And Luffy as a character, with him being a rubber man, or, being a zone fruit devil user that's also rubber, it leads to those wacky situations. So, I really do like what this fight is. It's a very One Piece fight, and I love seeing Gear 5. Now, let's actually talk about Gear 5's capabilities and what this chapter actually did. So, for one, we get to see the Awakened Zone Devil Fruit have an effect on Luffy's vitality, or his durability. Because, as I mentioned in my previous video I talked about, with this, chapter 1044, I talked about how Awakened Zone users, you have fast recovery. You recover very quickly. This is something that's been established for a while now. You could go back to previous Awakened Zone users. This was established by Oda already. So Luffy getting up after being worn down in the middle of the chapter, it fits with what the Devil Fruit is. He's an Awakened Zone, so he's able to take extreme damage and get back up again. However, once he's out of this state of an Awakened Zone, the repercussions are probably going to come in, and he's probably going to be heavily damaged. He might still recover, but it's probably going to be very, very negative on his very body. He's definitely not going to be able to have a big fight like Kaido right after he finishes Kaido. But when we look at, the chapter, we see that. We see high durability, but we also see that he is mixing it with Conqueror's Haki and Armament, where he's able to harden his body, because he takes multiple blows from Kaido within the chapter, and his body actually doesn't bleed. And the scene I want to talk about in particular is this one right here, where Luffy's face contorts with the club, and you see the spikes literally go through his head, and it just bends. And if this would have been, let's say, Luffy before, Gear 5, the spikes of Kaido's club would have definitely pierced Luffy. This has been one of Luffy's biggest weaknesses throughout the story of One Piece, is piercing damage. Someone that either slices him with a sword or tries to pierce him with a very pointy, sharp object. That is something that's always harmed him. But when you see Kaido's club literally swing and Luffy's face just bends around the very club, it kind of shows that Luffy's body is way more durable, and he isn't pierced as easily as he once was. That is definitely something I got from that. But also, his variability isn't just kind of able to affect the environment. For instance, turning the environment into rubber, he's able to apparently turn Kaido into rubber. So yeah, let's talk about that one. So in the middle of the chapter, you see Luffy literally go inside Kaido, and he starts beating the crap out of Kaido from the inside and all that, and Kaido makes a remark saying that my body, I'm not a rubber man. He's like turning into rubber, according to Kaido what he says. I could be misreading it, maybe I saw a bad translation, but basically, from what I got is that Kaido said he was like rubber for some reason. So it seems like, Luffy was literally turning Kaido's very body into a rubber substance, and that's why Kaido was able to stretch like he was, and why Luffy was able to do the things he did to him throughout the chapter, like punching his fist straight through him, which that's something to talk about. So Luffy, he literally punches through Kaido's head, and obviously, if it wasn't the wacky situation, we would assume Kaido was dead in that moment, but obviously he's not. And it makes you wonder, what just happened? How did Luffy punch through Kaido's very head, and then come back out, and Kaido was fine? And it could be a case of maybe Luffy punched him so hard he stretched his very face with the punch, like I was just talking about, or something else, because we don't really know the full capabilities of what the Hito Hito no Mi Nika model actually is. We don't know what other properties and abilities it has. We know, obviously, Luffy has, rubber type of capabilities, but we don't really know what else. Like, he might have fire since he's a sun god, he might have maybe cloud-like power since he's affiliated with, like, a god. We don't really know. We don't actually know what Luffy's Devil Fruit is capable of. So, for all we know, he might have abilities to just inflict wounds on people, but it doesn't actually hurt them or really harm them to the degree of, let's say, mortally injuring them, something like that. I don't know. But it's clear that Luffy and Kaido are having a very enjoyable fight, and Luffy is really enjoying himself and just continuously pushing himself forward and forward to be able to bring down Kaido. It's a good fight. It really is a good chapter. It's simple. It gets down to the basics of what One Piece is, and it's a great action-packed chapter. I personally see nothing wrong with the chapter, and once again, I don't understand why people are complaining about said chapter, but it's a good chapter. It really is, and I am excited. I'm honestly excited to see the full extent of what Luffy is capable of, and since he apparently has such a wide effect on people around him, he's able to make their eyes pop out, etc., I do wonder if he's able to potentially give, other crew members rubber-like abilities temporarily. That would be kind of wild. Like, if it really does pass on to those around him, like he's able to have objects or people turn into rubber, I wonder if he could do that, let's say, someone like Zoro or something. That would be kind of wild. I mean, we don't really know. Maybe Luffy's very Devil Fruit, the Nika model, is able to bend the very laws of reality and physics of Devil Fruits entirely. Something similar to what Blackbeard actually does with his, his Devil Fruit. So that is food for thought. But I guess I'm going to leave it at that. It's a great chapter, like I've said, and I can't wait for chapter 1046. It's going to be amazing. But I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy my content, as always, leave me a like, subscribe if you want more of my content, hit that bell icon, etc., etc. Let me know your thoughts on the, chapter in the comments below. If you liked it or hate it, give me your honest thoughts. But that, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.